it just, if you want that out there or not. But I have had the same kind of issues. I ain't gonna lie, but it just, if you want that out there or not. But anyway. So so I don't know what to tell you except for to keep hope alive.
Mm-hmm. And I can say this, that dating here in Cleveland is is just not I've dated a lot more and had so much more fun in Kansas. Yeah, just so much more fun, and people are a little bit more, the people that I met there were a little bit more intellectual and insightful, but not from a place, just this natural, like, yeah, girl, like this natural energy of, like, I learned about shaman from a doctor that I was dating in Kansas, and he made it clear, I'm not really for a relationship, but we found things in common. So he was teaching me how to shoot pool. So we got together every week to shoot pool. And then he was teaching me about the shamanic exercises. And so he introduced me to a shaman. And then that's how I learned about rhythmia, plant medicine retreat. And so I just had I had different engagement with the people in Kansas. They just were more engaging. It wasn't about sex. It wasn't about this hide and seek stuff. Mm-hmm. And here, the people that I've dated here, they just all hide. It's just an energy that is just, it makes my heart hurt, because there's just a lot of hide and seek energy. People aren't connected to their truth, and if they are connected to their truth, like I said before we got on the air, they got these gates around them, and they walk around with these giant gates on them, and then they bumping into stuff and bumping into you, and so and so that's why I'm like, let me hurry up and get this together so I can move on to wherever spirit has me to move on to. I know that this is not my settling space, because I want to be in a connection, but I don't want to be in a connection with a white man. And here, the white men have the connection to having dates or interactions with white men has been a more compatible experience.
Yeah, it's strange here, the dynamic that that we have. Like, you even go different places and you see people who are more open to that. And I don't know if it is because we're because of Cleveland, like if you go, or if it's an Ohio thing.
Right.
But there is definitely a difference, even in the level of engagement or the expectancy around how open people are to that. Mm-hmm. Years ago, I dated a white guy here. And it didn't, while the two of us by ourselves might have been okay, when you go outside of that, create, not not so much. And so if that is something that is a concern, this is not the spot. So
it's not. So as I'm reading more about this heart chakra and the throat chakra, I'm just getting more and more clear and more okay, because at first I was kind of bummed out, but now whatever. And then hanging out and talking to my kids yesterday was just so encouraging and empowering, that settling is just like not an option anymore. Like,
right. I mean, and why at this point? Why at this point? I got so much on that. But that's
I know, right?
That's a glass of wine.
Yes, it is.
And,
and
Yeah, and crossing your legs and everything. I'll have to invite you over.
Yes, into your new space, especially the backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the
I am
back
getting it
porch.
together. I am getting
Yeah.
it together. We can, have a bottle and or two.
Or two. I'll bring mine. You got yours. We have to
Yeah.
finish them up. No sense in leaving the cork in there.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm all about that. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this new, yeah, it's a whole new week. It's the week of May 10th, and I'm just excited about, having a few days where it just looks like sunshine.
I'm so happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
even though it's in the 50s, I'm on my way to get some mulch when, and
Yeah. I'm going to Sam's when we get off of here.
are you?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting, I gotta call my mechanic too. I got some stuff going on with my car. Um, Mainly for some reason, my gas is not registering correctly. Like I went and filled up my tank last week and the needle never went to full. It sort of stayed at half and then it dropped down to empty. And so I don't want to be driving around not knowing how much
Yeah.
gas I got in
Yeah. Yeah.
my so I need to call him and see what the heck is going on there.
Hope it's
And
nothing. And if so, I hope it's just a sensor, something
yeah,
simple, you
it's
know?
a float or something like that, something simple. So, and now my chosen mechanic has moved out quite a ways from me. He's always moving, but he moved out quite a ways from me. So I certainly can't go see him on a not knowing how much gas
Right.
I got in my tank.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because he's like a 45-minute drive.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to fill up.
But he has worked on this car since I got the car. So
Okay.
I still kind of continue to go to him.
Well, you know what to do, right? You know the old-fashioned way to
What's
write your mileage down, fill up the tank.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then watch the needle or pay attention to where
Okay.
you're going. But write down your mileage when you fill it up.
Okay. Thank you for that. Because I hadn't even thought about that. I've just been thinking 7 days, 7 days. That's my normal. It's like 7 days. Um, so we kind of need to, we are on the internal power piece where
Yeah.
we're talking about shifting from the physical world to the inner world and talking about that. So I'm so excited to have you here. um Wait a minute. James Jerome Bell wrote in the window, and let me see if I can read his thing because it sounds like he is. Um,
James Jerome, I never heard.
uh, yeah, he sends me stuff from time to time. He said at one time, I believed that love was blind. Yet the commitment to Black women, family, and community is a true philosophy that I've embraced as a Black man. We must be committed to our togetherness of our contemporary society. And then he says, Google James Jerome Bell. Um,
I'm not quite clear what that meant, but okay.
yeah. It's interesting because I don't know if I told you this. So I have been raised in a Black family, from the South. And in the past I have taken as a almost like a mission to be with a brother. I'm
Mhm.
past childbearing, though.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't about to have no babies. But I will say that I don't know that I necessarily, I'm right now in my life, I am about what is good for me. So I will, uh, on a case by case basis,
And you better be case by case.
see what works for me,
Right.
and deal with that when I deal with that, but not having some label on me that says only this need apply. I mean, I can
Yeah.
remember a time when, I was like only 6 foot or above. I mean, you have all of these ideas
Right.
about
Right.
what's supposed to work for you. And it's
Right.
like, come on. I had a dream the other day about like kind of getting hit on by a midget. And I was like, you know.
Let's see. Let's see.
And Pasola dwarf is the proper but it is, who am I to say what it's supposed to look like or be like.
Or what this learning experience is supposed to be like. Like there may be an experience for you in that midst. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole another, like you said, a glass of wine or two or three on the back
Uh-huh.
outside in the yard and having a conversation, because it is what it is, and
Uh-huh.
we just have to learn to adjust to it. I just wish that that you know I think I wish that uh um the equations, what's the word I'm looking for, that the circumstances would be different. I just
Yeah.
wish that it would be different, but it is what it is, and you guys got to pay attention. That's what
Mhm.
you got to do, is know that. So I'll look this up, James Jerome Bell, and because I'm curious, but my experience has been very disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. Period.
Period.
So I'm going to offer this prayer, a prayer by Maryam Williamson. She says, "Dear God, we surrender this relationship to you and ask that it be used for your purposes. May your resources and talents and energies and love be pooled and lifted up in your service. May we become together even more than we were apart.
Mm.
May the light around us forever shine. May the space of our love be the space of healing for ourselves and for the world."
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about a relationship, I think we come to it with that awareness. May two people together be more than what you were apart.
Exactly.
Yes. And
That has
so,
to be the intention. It's like, can I grow with this person? Is this
yes.
person open to growth, or is this person going to hide and run? I'm always going to be looking under the couch to see where you are. Like, where are you? Come out here. Are you willing to grow? And I think everybody needs to look at that, look at a
Yeah.
connection now. Even with my girlfriends, though, I'm not just like that with people that I date. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like that with people that I'm connecting with too. Like, where can we grow? What are we doing together? How are we doing this? Whether it's working out, whether it's something like this, whether it's building, a community for women, empower, whatever. The connections have to be meaningful, and they have to be a something that has the intention to grow the planet. And we don't have to be on growing the planet together, the same
Right.
thing, but
Right.
we got to have that same energy that we on this mission. And when we come
Right.
back together, it's juicy, and the manifestation, and especially what I know about the second chakra, the intention is for manifestation and to grow and to expand. And so
Mm-hmm.
you want to be in a connection with people that understand or have an intention that's more than just let's get together and you be mine, I be yours, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it for the world? We are
Yes.
Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Amen. Um, amen on all of that. It's interesting though. I like you know a lot of people who are fast asleep
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
and still dealing with and dealing in those first, second chakra issues, you know. Um, and I will say some of them in my own family, but I will say that you know, it's one of those things where I sometimes feel like you go over there to the edge of the pool while they're struggling around in the water and say, you know, can I offer you a hand yet? You ready to take it? You know, and then even when they come to the side of the pool, stopping, you know, with the struggle or the drowning, even when they come to the side of the pool, it's not that they're ready to get out or that they see the advantage of even getting out. You know, it's because the struggle has become what they have been accustomed to, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
And but
and
that's cool too.
uh-huh,
Because I'm a clinician, I understand that part. That part is cool. I understand because there's some strongholds that are upon us, especially from childhood, that we have to work our way through. But be willing to acknowledge it and at least say, okay, I'm gonna lift myself up on the side of the pool. I'm gonna lift myself up on the side. Or okay, I'm gonna at least get on the first step. Don't get up there and then swim away because you're afraid that somebody gonna do something different. So I'll go back out in the water and try to drown and survive. I don't know, but I don't mind you being aware. Come to the edge and keep coming to the edge, but people don't keep coming to the edge who
mm,
are not
because the
seeking
it
growth.
seems like that to them, it seems like it's more work,
Yeah.
you know. And true enough, it is a different level or a different experience
Is
when you come out of that struggle. And so there is also a struggle when you are moving from one thought form into another, because what happens for me, or what happened with me, was is that what I realized is that when I started on this journey, there a lot of the people that I was running with couldn't go there
uh,
because they were stuck in I don't want to just say traditional religion, but they were stuck in this idea that all we got to do is put on our dress up clothes and go to the pageantry that is the Black church on Sundays, and you show up and you show off and you know, chick kiss, and then you go home and until next Sunday. And it's not a everyday, like,
renewing.
yeah, we like a daily committed work or walk beyond just saying, you know, God bless you. It's like there is a internal, like a turning inward that has to happen in order for you to truly begin to walk the next steps.
Mhm.
You know, that's not about yeah, about some of the foo-foo stuff that people get into. And so what I realize is that, you know, that that doesn't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And to become conscious of this walk, I think is a major shift.
Yeah. You know what I envision when you said that? I envision an elevator that goes, yeah, and then it stops right here, almost like the penthouse level where you got to get off now, and then you got to go to the other elevator where you have to have a key to get up. And so if you don't have the correct combination, you don't get to go to the penthouse. You don't get to go to this next
Yeah.
place up. And so
Uh-huh.
people can come up to here and no further because here requires a shift
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
in your consciousness, and unless you have cleared the way to here, you don't get off and go to the penthouse. You actually keep doing this up and down thing. Next, who's coming on? Next, who's coming on? Up and down, and up and down,
That's a
up
good
and
analogy.
down.
That's a good analogy, right? Because that's how for the most part, how people do. But the other thing is that, you know, like for me to become conscious that there is a next level, like, you know, like you said, oh, I met a shaman when I was in Kansas, right? And you know, so for some reason when I read all these books, and I've known a few people who were witches by their self-definition, practicing white magic. They are quick to say, I do white magic, I'm not into the darkness.
Right.
But knowing that, and part of that is too, is even in our you know, the framework of people, sometimes people are not open enough to recognize that there's this spiritual walk includes so much that most people put on the outside. So if, for me, you know, people will have names like they don't recognize what our church system, the religious system, the religious hierarchy has done. They've created this name called a cult, and they necessarily name it as bad without saying, and people without saying to themselves that, you know, God created all of this. In the Bible, you hear them talk about astrology. But then yet our system says astrology is evil. In the Bible, people were interpreting dreams, but yet when you talk about interpreting,
right,
have the perception now that that's somehow evil. We label all of this stuff as that people can't understand or manage or do
or manage or control.
Yes. They label it evil, and they just don't even want to deal with it when it is something that has been all along right where we are. Nature itself is here, and it feeds us, it nourishes us. But you know, what did I hear somebody say the other day? Like, yeah, that's just too fresh for me, or that was just, you know, that's just too much for me. And it's like, where do we think all of this stuff comes from? What do we, you know, what is it that we think? We have really disconnected from so much, and without even recognizing that the way that people used to heal themselves wasn't by going down to the clinic. Right. You know, it was, you know, I can
sitting out in the sun and just being in the sun, like,
and letting nature heal us. I can remember, so I remember when I was in elementary school, I can remember hearing our teacher. You know, I had a few Black teachers, not many, but a few, and Miss Green and Miss Buffer and all of these other teachers. And I can remember them playing this tape by Louis Armstrong. And, you know, we had not seen Louis Armstrong, but, you know, we were listening to his music in class. They had this little square record player, and she goes up there and she puts the album on there and she plays the thing, and he, you know, he does some blowing. And then he starts talking about when he would get sick, his mother would actually boil cockroaches. And they boiled these cockroaches, and then they took the juice off of the cockroaches and used it just like it was an elixir or some type of medicine.
Wow.
I mean, and honestly, we don't know what's in our stuff. We know the
really, really, exactly.
We're drinking cockroach juice. Somebody told me that painkillers were made out of the core of pineapples. So when I cut my pineapple, usually what I do is I take my core of my pineapple and I chew on it, not because I'm in pain, but because if somebody is
whatever
using
the properties are. Yeah.
it's good for me, maybe I ought to, I'm chew it just like I chew some sugar cane. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have labeled stuff, we label stuff as bad or as evil that we don't understand. And then we lean or give all of our attention, awareness to the structure that people want us to buy from, that they want us to come and spend, because they don't want you trying to do some self-healing work.
Right.
They don't want you figuring out that that there are certain things that you can do to alleviate.
Or teaching the mind that it can.
Yes.
Because if you train your mind that you have the power, then there's no need for the baker and the baker and the butcher or the drug dealer. It eliminates, so that's that reciprocal need, want, need, want, need, want. So somebody fulfilling that. But if I can do it from my mind space, if I can sit in agreement with myself or someone else, then healing can take place. I think that was the beauty about Louise Hay's ministry, her ability to sit in a space with people and just be in a space of believing for healing and recovery and things like that. It's very important. It's real. But we got to get from the external to the internal.
Right.
And that part is so shut down, and it is so shut down for a thousand reasons. And that's, 1,000 reasons why people are shut down. Otherwise, this would be easy. But people don't want to go from that external into the internal, because that means I got to open up my heart space.
Right.
And that heart space that's a big space. It's a God space. It's all a God space, but so much lives in that heart space. And then to have the courage to declare what comes up from the heart.
Yeah. And just being in a space of trusting. So like, say for instance, I've bought magnets and I do that magnet work, right? And I remember reading, and it could have been in that The Body Keeps the Score or some book. I'm not sure what it was, but I remember reading this thing, because all of our illnesses come from up here, our thinking and things that we've been through, our biography. And so when I got the magnet, it started talking about how much of the pain in our lives we could release through just using these magnets, because all of us have within our body that travel along our nerve endings, our lymph nodes. We got all of this stuff, and if the pain bodies develop in your joints or someplace, sometimes it's a matter of just confession, right? Let me speak and talk about what it is that this pain could be. If I ask this, what are you? And it's saying to me that you feel like you're carrying a word around on your shoulder because of this and because of that. And then it says, now that confession is taking place, now just run that magnet through there to kind of like, pull it out of you. And so people don't even have the trust to sit in that energy, because that requires a level of vulnerability that most people just don't want to have. Not with themselves, and certainly not with anybody else. But, I'm always like, what? I don't have do I have anything about me that I disown? So it becomes a part of what. Let me be curious about it, right? Let me just hold that space of curiosity, and then be like, okay, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
worst that can happen? If I tell people, if you tell somebody, oh, it's incredibly healing to walk in the grass with no shoes on.
Yes.
I know people who would be like, oh, I ain't doing that.
Oh, my sister and mother be like, don't you at least want to put some socks on?
Why?
I
Why?
walked out when I was cutting those greens the other day, it was wet. And I could hear my sister going, I just wish you would put some shoes on your feet. Aren't your feet wet? I could just feel her just being so just grossed out. And at the same time, I just was, I don't know, I felt like grounding my feet in a little harder,
Yeah,
to say no, like this is good. The wet is good. This is not a dirty kitchen floor. This is the grass. This is the ground.
yeah,
It's all good. Like yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, my neighbors, not on this side, but the other side, they always kind of make fun of me, like, why you just a country girl? I walk out the house, take stuff to the front yard to the trash, no shoes on. They're like, are you from the country? I'm like, I don't know where I'm from, but I know I like the way the ground feels beneath my feet.
yeah.
I just love it. And I don't have callous feet either. So
Right,
that's something to
right.
think about too, because I pay attention to that. And
Hmm.
it's just something amazing about it. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And there are a lot of cultures though that connect with this planet, this earth, and know that it has the ability to heal us. As a matter of fact, we are transient. People will come and go, but this thing here is not in peril.
Mm-hmm.
It will
Not.
be. I love the fact that it will be, that it was here before we got here and will be here after
Yes.
we are gone.
Yes.
And there is a certain security in that. And everything that we need comes from it. It feeds us. We are people of the earth.
Yes, we
It
are.
feeds us. Everything that we get, everything you put in your mouth comes from this thing called earth. So I don't understand why we just, it's just exasperating to me.
But
So
it's getting, I think that the pressure is coming because there's generations of star seeds or whatever these little new people are, that they are more connected to a natural experience or a natural resolution because they've watched. My son had a really sharp rap called Higher. I think it's called Higher. It's nice, but it just talks about him watching me, the struggle of a Christian,
mhm,
and my faith in God and the outcomes, and yet, when he turns to his way of doing things, and he's pretty holistic type guy, but he was born with a bunch of allergies. So he was the one that really started us on this journey of holistic living. Life is so good like that, right?
yeah,
To I give birth to someone that couldn't have wheat, dairy, or sugar. So it changed the trajectory of my life,
right,
and from that place is just this awakening and an illumination, because we had to do something different, and know that it's sustainable. People like eating like that's too expensive. No, it's not. I have 4 boys,
right,
5 in the summer and Christmas, and we just figured it out. We figured it you figure
yeah,
it out, and it just becomes a normal part of life. But yeah, but there's a whole generation that's coming behind us that's not. They are really gut led. They are led by their gut. They're very intuitive, and I want to be a part of that. I want to be an inspiration to that. I want to be an encourager, or a cheerleader to
mhm.
that essence. My one son sells sea moss gel, and he got a whole business, labels and everything. You know, um,
Jail.
mhm.
Hmm.
And just put it in my smoothie. I put it in my coffee. I put it in my green. I feel good. I feel healthy. I've been okay.
Hmm.
But I just think it's just cool that he even thinks about something like that. That He's just doing his thing. And I just feel good about it. And I think there's a generation of people, and especially Black people, that are, really gonna be awakening and understand that this earth is here. We're here to serve the earth, and the earth will serve us, give us service back if we understand that we're here to serve. We are here to serve this planet.
Yeah. I used to, especially when Whole Foods was, I think it was Whole Foods was right there on Shaker Square. I used to go in and get wheatgrass juice. I would get a
Mm-hmm.
shot of wheatgrass juice, throw it back and be like, bing! It was better than coffee for me. And as we sitting here talking about this grass, I'm wondering what's the difference between wheatgrass
Me
and
too.
regular grass. Like maybe I need to, start, because a shot, you get a shot almost, I think it was like 275, almost like you
Mm-hmm.
getting a shot of liquor or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Probably less pesticides.
yeah, and so if I'm out here growing other stuff, putting other stuff in the ground, and I'm so excited about that. I'm putting other stuff in the ground. Why not that? Yeah, so I'm gonna go pick up some more vegetables because I got my tomatoes. I got some of those in already, but I got other stuff to put into my and I don't know about you, but there is just something beautiful and wonderful about when I run the thing through my compost. Well, it's now my raised bed, but I'm using compost that I had made over the winter. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even broken down all the way because really you're supposed to sift it.
Sifted.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
My
but
dad made a sifter for my mom last week.
really,
Uh-huh. I think the holes are too big, but I just let them do what they do. But he made one from scratch. He built one, a wooden sifter, because they make their own soil because they have potted garden. They have the raised bed garden and they have pots. And so my dad I'm sure he did YouTube, but he made her a sifter. So I was like, Dad, what is this thing? It was square, got the little screen in there, and
mm,
I don't even know when he whipped that thing together. He was like, "Oh, it's a sifter, so your mom can sift through her dirt and create there." So they've been buying their casings and all their nutrients to put into their soil that they make in this little baby swimming pool.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, no, so I didn't do all of that stuff.
but
My
you already have a compost though.
right, right.
Yeah.
Um, and so mine's when I'm looking in it and I'm turning it over, I'm seeing it's full of worms and those night crawlers, those little, I mean, they are doing their job. So even as I'm looking at the thing, I know that I got a lot of big, like leaves and stuff in there. I got a lot of that, but there's also dirt in there. And so that is not to say that what I'm about to plant in it won't grow because it hasn't broken down far enough. It
Mm-hmm.
is, I'm mixing in some other stuff. I'll mix in another bag of dirt
Mm-hmm.
and work that in and know that it'll, what I need to grow in there is gonna grow.
Don't grow.
It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
grow because
Mm-hmm.
all it needs is to, get those roots in there. And I've had compost bins, and I know I got to get off of this, but I've had compost bins that are off the ground and those that are on the ground. And I prefer them to have ground contact because it needs to attract all the stuff in the environment in
Mm-hmm.
order for it to do what it needs to do. I don't like off ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had one of those barrels that you turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was done with that thing. So yeah, I'm excited about that and excited about all of this as is coming to us. So level 4 is the emotional power chakra.
Yes.
It's the sacrament of marriage. And so we started this yesterday where we talked about love is divine power and the symbolic doorway to our internal world.
Mm-hmm.
um and so so we talked about, I think we talked about yesterday about love is the only authentic power. But
Hmm?
but I also said that Maryam Williams says hate is more organized.
Yes.
And so this, so opening ourselves, and that's one of the beautiful things about vulnerability is that it says to be open and to be vulnerable is to trust that when you're coming from your truth, when you're standing in love, then you are on purpose, and there is something beautiful and wonderful about that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things, the problems that we have is that when people have ever been hurt, then what they do is they begin to not trust because they want to be sure of the outcome. And so
Yes.
they armor up or put on that gate that fence that you were talking about that people surround themselves with. Rather than knowing that it's the love that elevates, it's the
Yeah.
love that enlivens and empowers, and that there is something wonderful and beautiful about it.
Mm-hmm.
So she says in here that by far the strongest poison to the human spirit is the inability to forgive yourself or another person.
I got that highlighted.
Yeah,
That's the
and so
strongest poison.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we stay in a space of right of for me since I view love as a superpower. I want to be honest about this. Let me see. So love is a superpower, and I want to be open and available to it when it shows up, and however it shows up. So I will say that I have guarded against it.
I
Uh,
have to.
right? I have guarded against it because I'll say, yeah, not you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have done that. But usually it's because there has been something within me that comes up and says, not not you. Like I am sensitive to stuff that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So when you approach me and I get right off that I don't trust you, or you know how I'm always talking about the images that I get when people come
Mm-hmm.
around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, they'll be sometimes it's like I'll think of it as an intuitive hit, like I get a bad taste in my mouth, or I think they slick, or or that's not for me. I
Mm-hmm.
get strong feelings that come over me like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just and so I trust that, and to go against it sometimes takes you down a circuitous route. It takes you down this rabbit hole that is like, you wonder to yourself, why did I go there? Why did
I
it
think we go there to strengthen our trust muscle. I think we go there to get clear about our ability to be vulnerable in an area that is secure. Because when you go into a direction of an insecure, like if you are connecting with an insecure person or you're going on a job that you don't like, I think that it helps you, the muscle for yourself, to become more secure and less. I used to struggle with trusting a lot of people because I'm a helper. So, oh, let me just help you, and not knowing how to help and then just pull out and come back on my lane. I'll stay over there, and being able to come back to my lane was difficult for me because then I started questioning my knower. When you stay over too long with insecure people or people that are not, and so then you get, I think those experiences are there to teach us boundaries. And I don't know what people think when they hear the word boundaries, but like to help us understand, okay, I needed to have this experience so that I could learn who I am as a
Mhm.
person,
Mm.
not to judge them, but to learn who it's always about me when it comes to stuff like that. What am I needing to learn about myself? And I got this out of myself. But a lot of times when we have those experiences and we go be like, can you believe that joker? Da, 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 da. And we never turn and look in the mirror and say, this experience showed up for me. There was
Mm.
something wonderful, amazing, and juicy I was supposed to learn and get about myself. It opened me up. Now I can be even more vulnerable because I got that for myself. And I
Mm.
can turn in that direction, and those people can either come or go because I got that for myself. But a lot of times when we come out of those experiences, we're always looking at the other guy or the other circumstances or the job. That place sucks to work at, but there was something in it for me.
Right. I mean, everything is a learning experience, right? I get that. But then, yes, the other part of that is how do you stay in a space where you trust your own intuition
Mm-hmm.
to, so when I get that, when I get very clearly like, yeah, that's not for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get that, and then when you get that, yeah, that's not for me, or you get that this is not something
Mm-hmm.
that I want to. So when we override those things, I think that sometimes what happens is it's almost like we go down a path, and sometimes we are able to get back on our own path, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we stay off the path for a while.
Oh yeah.
um and it becomes all of that. So Gretchen has said she marked that same thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
Nasia is saying that these are experiences are the biggest gifts if you get the lesson, if
Yeah.
you get the lesson,
I think
right?
you'll get it. How long you went ain't my business. But
Right.
I think that I think that you get it. I think we were designed to get it.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. However, like, but say for instance that so we if we went back to that pool experience that we were talking about earlier, right? Say for instance you have the perception that that struggle that you're going through treading water in the pool, you're so used to that when you step out of it, you're sitting up there and you're looking around saying, it seems like something is missing.
This is boring.
Right. Right, right. Especially like if people are used to being in volatile relationships and where the emotional stuff is always what they're dealing
Yes.
with. To
Yes.
get in something that is just smooth sailing and where you're vibing with each other
Yes.
and everything like that, they might think, you know what? They are after
Yep.
the peaks, instead of the valleys or whatever. They
Instead of
just,
the ebb and flow, they want whoo, whoo.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'm straight on that. I'm straight. I'm straight. Let's chill. I'm not in the, I'm not into the constant chase.
Yeah. I like that language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So 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 it's so this when she says it's the strongest poison, she also says it disables a person's emotional resources. It disables their emotional resources. So can you imagine? Okay, so let me give you an analogy. Because I tell all my business, right? There was a time, after I had, I guess this was like right in my early 20s, where I had already experienced a rape. I had, and I had been in that energy, in that space for a while. And when I finally got into therapy and I started to unpack my stuff, what I had not been aware of until, okay, so I don't even know if y'all are conscious of my timeline. So I was raped and I thought I had dealt with my stuff. Then later on, after I graduated college, I went out and I started working for the Rape Crisis Center as what they called the community educator. And I would go to these places and I would hear women starting to talk. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, you want intimacy in your life, right? But I was not one of those people that could let somebody hold me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would take a shower all the time. I was doing stuff. And as I heard people say those things when I went out and started doing community education, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I do that too. Is that a symptom of this? Is this part of how we deal? And so what I recognize is when I started therapy is that I was numb.
Mm-hmm. And self-protecting.
Yeah, I did not have feelings and emotions. I was numb.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know I was numb
Mm-hmm.
until I started like investigating and then thinking about, why is this numbness here? And so I think that sometimes we have a numbed out generation of people, numbed out society that don't realize that they have numbed themselves. And then when you finally realize, wow, I need to do something about this. This requires some work. And so then for me, it was like peeling off this armor that I was wearing one piece at a time and then saying, okay, let's see now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. Let me take this piece off.
Yes, that's it. That's a story like that.
Yes.
It's good though. That's truth though. That's exactly how it works.
Right. And so I got to the point where finally I'm taking the armor off and I'm feeling powerful. And now I'm like, I don't need to walk around all, with armor on or like a turtle, just kind of pulling back into my shell every time somebody threatens me. Because I'm strong, shiggity. I was like, I can.
And when you say threaten, you mean somebody coming close.
Yes.
Not threatening you in a bad way, just even giving you love or giving you attention or giving you affirmation or giving you the desire to want to connect. Was threatening.
I couldn't handle that. I mean, because there was that moment of somebody holding you close and you thinking like, oh, this is going to end in a minute.
Yes. Yes.
This is going
to end. That's where I'm talking about. The elevator comes up this high. Yeah. And then it got to go back down.
Yes. And to be able to own that fear, even when you're in the midst of feeling it, to be able to own that is an amazing and empowering thing. Yes. And I can now say, because when I see her creep in, that fearful thought creep in, I can say, okay, come on, baby, I got you. We're going to be okay through this, right? So Gretchen just didn't, that player, maybe that layer being pulled off can be scary, but once the new skin is revealed, it's like the weight of the world being lifted. Yeah.
Yes. So true.
Yeah. And so many folks, we don't recognize that, how much we've layered up, how much armor we're wearing around, and it's heavy. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know that you got it, it becomes a part of that survival stuff that you've been in. And so, yeah, so so this idea of not forgiving, of not looking at the pain that you've been through, right? When you don't look at it, when you don't explore it, we just kind of keep putting on armor in order to not experience it or feel it again. And we don't even know that it's there because we're not. Yeah.
It's like a callus. It's like a callus. And I think that there are just a lot of people, going back to how our conversation started, there's a lot of people that have those calluses on. When I was doing online dating, I would use a lot of feeling language, because the people who couldn't feel, I didn't want them in my mix. But they would come to my mix. But I use a lot of feeling. I feel excited. I feel exuberating. It's so nice to hear you. This is intriguing. I would I had a feelings chart whenever I would answer a call, because I wanted you to know that I am connected with me.
Okay.
I'm not getting ready to just talk about the weather, what you like, and all this external. I'm connected with me. Can you stay engaged? Because I am going to talk about what I feel all the time. And people pull away. It's too much. And then I became, and before going back to therapy, I became nervous about that, because I didn't want to hide. But I felt like it was the only way people stayed engaged is if I was hiding, if I didn't talk about my feelings, if I wasn't excited about life, and I don't have crap to complain about, so it just didn't work. But it's just this dance that you have to do with people who have not done self-forgiveness, have not decided to trust. It's a whole nother paradigm shift in order to move into the internal power that we have, the heart chakras and the throat chakras.
Okay. So yes. So I just looked at the time. So let's try to I don't know. Are we gonna be able to get through this?
Yeah.
Symbolically, I mean today. That's the question. Symbolically, I'm gonna skip on to the next.
Yeah.
The sacrament of marriage brings into our life the need and responsibility to explore love. First, we must love ourselves, and our first marriage must be a symbolic one, a commitment to attend consciously to our own emotional needs in order to be able to love and to accept others unconditionally. So I mean, and that's what we've been talking about. The first commitment is to seeing ourselves. Sometimes I pick up this doggone book and I think to myself, I got all of this stuff marked off. And then when I go to look for it, I can't find it. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read this to y'all. Let's see if I make sure I'm starting off right. Okay. So there is more to say, though we have not the language. There is more to see, though we have not the eyes. There is more to love, though we have not the heart. As yet, my love, as yet. For I believe in the power of love and the magnetic draw of planets to their orbit. And you are drawn to encircle me as I am drawn to encircle you. Encircle each other we will forever, for our orbits are bound to one another's pull. The central sun has determined that, and its light, however dim or however bright, however central to our vision or merely peripheral and at times ignored, shall always call us back to our hearts. And back at home, in the haven of love, we will always find each other. I will be there, if only for a moment, and I will say to you each and every time, I remember, my darling. My darling, this is home to me. Do you think the planets call each other darling, you asked, with a smile? At some level, I said, I think they do.
It reminds me of that Gregory Porter song, the one that goes, how did we ever lose our way and try to say love is a losing game? We were lovers. I can't remember the title of the song. I just know the words. But it's like no matter how far we go, it's the friend. It's that the heart, us together, and it just always brings us back together again. No matter how far out we go, something always pulls us back together again. And unless we remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It's so funny. There's this guy I dated off and on years ago named, his name was Charles, I think. And I remember one time he told me, he was like, man, you keep coming back like a bad habit. I thought that was the funniest thing. Like a bad habit. I was like, okay. Hey, whatever.
And love is intended to be juicy like that. And this other line here says, learning to love ourselves is a challenge to all of us, and none of us is born loving ourselves. I thought that was just so powerful. To remember that how we learn to love came from our family of origin, which is why, you know, my modality is attachment. Attachment is huge to me, or emotionally focused therapy is huge to me, because I believe that attachment is the key to connections. And since we didn't come here born that way, somebody taught us how, somebody gave us the definition and helped us to say, hey, keep your heart open or shut it down. Keep your heart open or shut it down. And we have to relearn from our experiences how to keep it open so that we can keep elevating from a spiritual standpoint.
So when we neglect ourselves emotionally, we not only become emotionally toxic, we bring that toxin into all our relationships, and particularly into an actual marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to do our own work, or else we contaminate those other relationships. And that's not just, so say for instance, that's not just marriage.
No.
Because our relationships, when we talk about our relationships, a relationship is what you and I have, right?
Right.
And so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be the, you know, the love of your life, or,
exactly.
You know, it's wherever you have these emotional connections, that emotional connectedness, the toxicity of that can pollute everything. It's just easier to get out of when it's not an actual marriage. But they say that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And so all of those, in the context of all of those, it does matter. The Sephira of Tiferet, I don't know, Tiferet, symbolic of the heart and sun within the human body, pulsates into each of us the energies of compassion, harmony, and beauty, the tranquil qualities of love, compassion, harmony, and beauty. Ooh, and and to the qualities of love, here's what I think that sometimes we don't recognize too, that love is not just like this emotional thing, but she's talking about compassion, harmony, and beauty. Can you imagine? I had a guy who was trying to date me, and he said to me something like, you know, you ain't all that.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And I was thinking like,
wow,
what's that about? What's that about?
That's where I mess up.
What?
Asking those questions. Today I'm like, okay, true. But that's, yeah. Wow.
What is that about? And if that's
mirror,
you,
mirror on the wall.
that's you trying to walk in the door.
Good luck with that, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, dude, no, boy, bye. Boy, bye.
Oh, so sad. I got you.
You know, I mean, why try? Because that that was just like, okay. So 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 I think that part of, me loving nature is even just in the seeing. If what it said in that book, The Celestine Prophecy, is true, that part of the way that we love is through our adoration of one another.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, is that not powerful?
that's good though. It is so true.
Why do I want to spend my time with somebody who doesn't absolutely adore me?
Mhm.
Because in the context of that, not only are we being better for each other, and we're trying to be better for the world. So if I gotta struggle, if I can't be lifted in my relationship, if I gotta struggle with you just for me to feel okay, we already defeated.
Yes.
Already defeated. And I'm telling you, if you are alive, if you are a living creature, you deserve to be adored. Adored. I don't care how you judging yourself. And if you're not adoring yourself, go back to the mirror and start doing the work there.
Yes.
My mama used to say, it's a sorry dog that don't wag its own tail. You gotta adore and love you. And when you don't know how to adore and love you, that's the work that needs to happen. We go around being cripples, being emotional cripples, looking
like
for
that.
somebody else to
prop us up.
Yes, to do the work that we ought to do ourselves in the first place. Go do the work. That means look in the mirror and start dealing with self. Start dealing with you. And if
Call me, I'll help. I love mirror work. I am a mirror work queen.
Look,
I love it.
Therapists.
I love it. We don't even have to go on the therapy side. Just call me. Well, actually, I'm doing a workshop in Cleveland Heights in this summer, a mirror work workshop. So I'll give you the information on that, because yes, it's true and it works. Mirror work works.
Yes.
It works. It saved my life. So mirror work works.
Yes, it does. But yeah, start off there. And if because it feels good when you're adored. Oh my God, it lifts you.
It does.
And so yes, if you got issues in that area, go back, because and then you know what, and then some people, just because you exude that kind of self-love, they want to love too. They want to get in on that juicy. But
it's so true.
And here's the other thing. People will also look for people who don't feel good about themselves, because they can exploit the people who don't feel good about themselves.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject right there. That's a whole nother topic and discussion. It is so true.
I know.
It's so true.
But yes, so yes, so you got to change around your stuff. So anything else in that section we need to deal with?
No, I mean, there's a lot of juicy points. Like, these energies are essential to the physical health as well as to the emotional development, and acts as if and acts of the heart. When the heart is not filled with vital energies of love and harmony, no amount of money and power can keep it tranquil. And so an empty heart creates an empty life. And I think that was like powerful. enough, resulting in what we are here to talk about, which is illness.
Yeah, an empty heart creates an empty life. And you know what? And you got to think about, so a lot of people don't even think about life, right? What is it that I want this life to be about, this experience? And that all flows from our heart. So if all you are about, and here's my challenge to you too, even think about what you think about, because what most of the time people are resonate towards is the system of capitalism that we have learned, without recognizing that we are our brother's keeper.
We are.
And so sometimes people will kind of dismiss and say, well, what else is there other than money, money, money? And it's that idea, the love of money, that sometimes is corroding our very sense of connectedness one to the other, because we so busy talking about, well, let me see what you got. You show me what you got first.
Right. Right.
And so we can't even connect because we're so busy worrying about.
And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow too. I'm going to stop right because something came into me, but I'm not going to start it right now. But yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So with that, it is time for us to get off of here. And Stephanie is going to Sam's Club.
I am.
And yeah, and
got
I'm
a 10 o'clock appointment, so I'm gonna try to get there and come on back so I can get ready to start work.
Okay, yay. Yeah, and I'm excited about finishing up on my little area, and now
I bet.
the vision for having wine out there.
Yeah, hurry up.
I gotta get my stuff together. I gotta get it together. So you guys, thank you for being here. Love and blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you for your comments. Gretchen, I see Jerome, James Jerome. I appreciate your presence and your being here. And we will see you same time, same place tomorrow.
Morning. Yes. Yes. Thank you. That's right. Thank you.
So all of that love stuff to you. And
all right. We'll see you in the morning. All right.